Most people believe earning more is the answer. More income, more options, more security. It is the most logical assumption in personal finance, and it is quietly keeping millions of high earners financially trapped. Right now, somewhere across this country, there is someone earning $150,000 a year who is more financially fragile than their neighbor earning $55,000. Not from one catastrophic mistake, not from bad luck, from 7 invisible habits that feel completely reasonable while they are happening. 7 reasons high earners stay broke. Most people watching this will recognize themselves in at least 4 of them. The final reason is the one that locks all the others in place. By the end of this video, the gap between what you earn and what you actually build will finally make sense. My name is Alex. I spent years tracking my own finances with an obsessive level of detail. Every pattern, every dollar, every month where my income climbed and my real financial security barely moved. I kept asking the same question: why? The answer was not what I expected. Most high earners carry one belief that sounds completely rational: earn more, save more, build more. Clean logic. So everything gets directed toward the raise, the promotion, the next level. And when the anxiety does not disappear after the salary increases, the obvious conclusion is to earn more. That conclusion is exactly where the cycle tightens. 7 reasons why high earners stay financially stuck. Every single one feels normal while it is happening. That is precisely what makes each one dangerous. Stay for the final reason, because without understanding it, fixing everything else still might not be enough. The first reason is something almost every high earner lives through. Most just never realize it has a name or a price tag. Marcus earns $140,000 a year. 3 years ago, he earned $85,000. He felt financially stretched back then. He feels financially stretched right now. The salary grew by over 60%. The anxiety did not move a single inch. Every raise quietly vanished. Slightly nicer apartment, slightly newer car, more dining out each week. None of it felt reckless. Each upgrade felt proportionate. A fair reward for real work and real sacrifice. But together, they consumed every additional dollar before it ever had a chance to compound into anything real. This is lifestyle inflation, and the psychology driving it is hedonic adaptation. Humans adjust to improved circumstances almost immediately and return to a baseline emotional state within months. The upgrade feels meaningful briefly. Then it becomes the new normal. Then the next upgrade is needed just to recreate the same feeling. It is like a treadmill that quietly speeds up every time you find your stride. More effort, same position, every single time. He didn't fall behind because he earned too little. He fell behind because every raise evaporated before he could ever capture it. The fix must happen before the lifestyle adjusts. When a raise arrives, automate an investment contribution equal to at least half the increase before spending ever touches it. The lifestyle builds around what remains, and it never misses what it never had. Most people believe that solving lifestyle inflation fixes the problem, but there is a second leak running silently underneath. One that hides in a place that genuinely feels responsible, and most people never look there. Sarah has $40,000 sitting in a traditional savings account. Years of real discipline built that number. She checks it regularly. Every time she looks at it, she feels secure. What she cannot see is the erosion happening underneath every single month. At 0.5% annual interest, with inflation historically running between 2.5 and 3.5%, that money loses real purchasing power continuously. The number on the screen holds perfectly steady. The actual value quietly shrinks. The psychology is anchoring. Sarah sees the visible number and never registers the invisible loss dissolving beneath it. Think of a block of ice left on a counter. It looks completely solid every time you walk past. Then one morning you reach for it and realize it has been melting the entire time. Slowly, silently, without a single warning. She wasn't being careless. She was being careful in the wrong direction. 3 to 6 months of expenses belong in a high-yield savings account for genuine emergencies. Everything beyond that should be actively working in investments. Money that is not growing is falling behind, whether the screen reflects it or not. Here is what surprises most people. The next mistake does not trap beginners. It specifically catches people who are already investing, people who genuinely believe they are doing everything right. And it costs them far more than they ever realize. James spends hours every week researching individual stocks, earnings reports, analyst upgrades, carefully selected positions built on genuine conviction and real intellectual effort. He has also been quietly underperforming a basic index fund for 3 consecutive years. He does not know it yet. Individual stock picking triggers what behavioral finance calls the illusion of control. The deeply human belief that personal research and active involvement produce better outcomes. In investing, that belief has a well-documented track record of costing ordinary people real money over time. Decades of data confirm it. The vast majority of active investors, including professionals with full research teams and institutional access, fail to consistently beat simple market returns long-term. More trading means more fees, more taxable events, more emotional decisions. All of it silently compressing the actual return year after year. It is like spending 3 hours mapping the perfect driving route when the highway would have delivered a better result with no effort at all. He was not failing because he was unintelligent. He was failing because effort and outcome are not the same thing in investing. Low-cost, broad-market index funds held consistently outperform nearly every more complicated approach. Boring wins almost every time. But the next mistake does not live inside an investment account. It lives inside something most people look at every single month and never actually examine. Every month, David makes the minimum payment on his credit card. Current, on time, responsible by every visible measure. But his $6,000 balance at 22% interest paid at the minimum will take over 15 years to fully eliminate. The total interest paid will approach the original balance all over again. A purchase that felt completely affordable on the day he made it will end up costing nearly double by the time the last payment clears. The psychology is present bias, valuing what is immediately available far more than consequences arriving years later. The item feels real and immediate. The compounding interest in year 9 feels abstract and distant. Until one day, it doesn't feel distant anymore. Minimum payments are like bailing a sinking boat with a small cup. The motion feels like management. The boat keeps going down regardless. He was not being reckless. He was managing. But managing is not the same as winning. No new debt for lifestyle purchases. Existing balances attacked aggressively, starting with the highest interest rate first. Eliminating 22% interest is mathematically equivalent to earning 22% guaranteed, something no standard investment can reliably match. Most people eliminate their debt and feel like they have finally turned a real corner. What they never see is that the next habit has been running the entire time, automatic, invisible, and expensive in a way that never announces itself. Open the last credit card statement. Go through it line by line. Count every subscription, every automatic renewal, every small recurring charge tied to something signed up for and largely forgotten. Most Americans find between 12 and 15 of them. Several overlap. Some have not been touched in months, but each one sits just below the threshold where canceling feels worth addressing, so they continue running automatically with no active decision required to keep them alive. This is not accidental, it is design. $11.99 feels harmless. $143.88 a year lands completely differently. Same money, entirely different psychological weight. It was not overspending. It was underpaying attention, and the subscriptions knew it. A 30-minute audit of every recurring charge done twice a year consistently recovers hundreds of dollars that we're leaving silently with no decision attached to them. The next reason does not hide in the background. It happens in public, out in the open, and most of the people around you are quietly applauding it. A $68,000 leased car on a $120,000 salary, justifiable percentage of income, clear signal of success to everyone watching, a visible acknowledgement of years of genuine hard work and real sacrifice. Also, $980 every single month. Money that invested consistently over 10 years at a historical average of 8% quietly becomes approximately $180,000. Status spending is purchasing primarily to signal social position rather than for genuine personal satisfaction. The psychology is social comparison theory. Humans naturally evaluate their own success relative to visible reference points. When the surrounding group is affluent, spending escalates to match the perceived standard, usually without a single conscious decision being made. It is like repainting the exterior of a house while the foundation cracks silently underneath. Everything looks excellent from the street. The structural damage happens completely out of sight. He wasn't buying a car. He was buying the appearance of a financial life he had not actually built yet. One honest question changes every significant purchase. Is this driven by what I genuinely value or by what I want others to see? And now, the final reason, the one that makes every single habit on this list permanent, the one that most people never identify because from the outside, and even from the inside, it does not look like a mistake at all. No written budget, no documented goals, no specific net worth target with a real timeline attached to it. Just a general sense that things are manageable. A vague intention to get more serious about money when life settles down a little. It never does. Without a written plan, every financial decision exists in complete isolation. Nothing connects today's choice to a 10-year outcome. Nothing makes the previous 6 habits visible. So all of them continue operating without any friction, quietly, automatically, indefinitely. Research consistently shows that people with specific written financial goals accumulate significantly more wealth over time. Not because writing is magic, because specificity converts a vague feeling into a measurable target. And behavior changes when something real and concrete exists to hold it accountable. 1 page, monthly income, fixed expenses, monthly investment amount, a 1-year and 5-year net worth target, reviewed once a month without exception. That is the entire system. Without it, every other habit on this list runs invisibly, and nothing ever stops them. Not a raise, not discipline, not good intentions, nothing. He wasn't failing because he lacked ambition. He was failing because ambition without architecture is just motion. Here is the single thread connecting all 7 reasons. Not one of them feels dangerous while it is happening. Every single one feels normal, reasonable, responsible even. That is exactly what makes them so expensive over time and nearly impossible to catch without stopping to see the full picture at once. The damage is not caused by dramatic financial mistakes. It is caused by ordinary choices made without understanding how they quietly connect and compound across years. High earners do not stay broke because of carelessness. They stay broke because income without intentional structure around it is just a faster version of the same treadmill. More speed, same track, same destination. The problem was never the paycheck, it was always the system built around it. Most people will leave this video thinking about their salary. The smartest viewers will leave thinking about their system. Think back to the very beginning of this video. That quiet feeling of earning well but never quite feeling financially free. That gap between income and real security that never seems to close no matter how much effort goes in. That gap does not close with a higher salary. It closes with intention, with structure, with a clear and honest picture of what actually happens to money between the moment it arrives and the moment it disappears. None of these 7 reasons require a dramatic life overhaul. Each one has a simple structural fix: not more income, more honesty about the system currently in place. The paycheck was never the problem. It was always what happened to it afterward. 10 years from now, 2 people with identical salaries will look at each other's financial lives and not recognize what they see. The difference will not be talent. It will not be luck. It will be the decision one of them made, quietly, without fanfare, to finally fix the system. If this changed how you think about your financial life, subscribe and leave a comment. Which of these 7 reasons hit closest to home, and what is the first one you are going to fix? See you in the next one.